A few days ago, I joined a meeting that looked like a normal sync, but within the first minutes, I knew it wasn't. A client, my software engineer contract was ending that day. It was my, at the moment, highest paying contract, and when the call ended, the first thing I felt at the moment wasn't actually panic and anger, it was relief. And this relief revealed to me what I was about to do next. I've always been like someone that which is good to without reading a room. So with the first minutes in the room, I knew there was room to negotiate anymore, and the decision had been made already. Also, it wasn't about my performance, or also like that. And the people delivering the news to me had difficult conversations ahead of me. So I tried to stay calm, asked what I needed to understand at the moment. I thanked them. Also made sure everything I was responsible for was handed over to cleaning. And then I closed my laptop. My house for the first time was very quiet in a way I hadn't been in years. And that is something to value. And for a long time, that contract was the first thing in my head when I woke up, and then the last thing when I went to sleep. And even on weekends, like part of me was still running through the next demo, the next delivery, and on paper it was the contract that I should have fought hardest to keep. It was paying me more than anything else, but the extra money I was receiving had actually stopped changing my life that much. The money matters, don't get me wrong. It buys safety, options, time. I take it more serious now than before. But at some point, these marginal dollars, they stop buying anything meaningful, but they keep like charging you the same anxiety. And that contract paid me the most, and also cost me the most peace. When it ended, I found out which I valued more, was the contract or my peace. It was my peace. My first instinct then was to replace it immediately, like open LinkedIn, answer recruiters, book calls, get those numbers back to where it was. But I could do that. I done it several times. I'm good at that. And that was the problem. Every time capacity opened up in my agenda, I fill with more client work. So a project ended, I found another one. I became faster doing that. So I accepted more and more responsibility. I earned more, of course, but the number instantly became the number I felt always obligated to maintain, never below that. So these ambitious engineers, like today, they treat empty space like a defect. Open hours feels inefficient, like you aren't producing anything. So we try to optimize every week until our careers look excellent from the outside, while we always almost nothing, because I've been doing that for years. This time is different. I asked a different question. What if I don't replace it? Not because the client work is bad. It gave me experience, it gave me capital, it gave me relationships, it gave me a network and opportunities that end up changing my life. But what if I take this specific block of recovered time that I have now and put it into the things that belong to me and not to others? That's the decision I made. And I don't want that this building assets to remain like this abstract idea. So here are my actual commitments that I put for myself for the next 90 days. So first, I put this clinical software product I've been building into the hands of its first paying clients. Shipping here means a real onboarding, real payment, and not another demo or things like that. And second, I'll commit myself also to produce long form videos every weekend, try to help engineers and or developers who want to grow to engineers. And I know that AI can do technical side, but I would say that today, like, the technical side is the easy part of being an engineer today. But what is more important than ever is experience that you go through in projects, during bad times, during layoffs, and how you handle that. So I'm trying to help others to achieve what I'm achieving. This channel today has like 16 subscribers. I want the record to actually begin before the result comes, not after it becomes bigger. Also, I'll try to, through November, I'll not actively search for anything for like a replacement contract. And that third committee is, I think, the one that cost me something, because that is why it matters the most. Also accumulates more. For example, an owned asset is not a passive income. It requires work. It can take like years to become valuable for bigger amounts of clients. And also it can fail completely. It can go wrong. But the difference is where the work accumulates. So one of these accumulate with the client work. I create value and I get paid for that. That's a fair exchange. But the asset remains with the client, as it should, right? But when the contract ends, the future incomes, they end with it. With something I own, I'm building, the work I do, like mouth to mouth, day to day, it can still be creating opportunities 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And otherwise, the client work, that creates cash and experiences. Yes, but the owned assets create leverage and optionality, which is a term I like from the book Antifragile. And I had simply allowed one to consume the time required to build the other. The real test here, for example, if you are an engineer earning good money, I'm not telling you go there and quit, because without the financial margin, I would be trying to replace this contract too, right? But that is the real test. Do you know your actual monthly cost? Do you have enough runway to think before you react to something? And when the capacity appears, can you leave it open long enough to make a deliberate decision in your life? So you don't need like 10 business ideas. You can pick one. You define what, like for example, shipping matters to you in your asset. Put it in front of real people. Receive no's, receive like criticism. Your first goal is not to replace your income dollar for dollar. Like the first goal is to discover whether you can create value outside a contract you actually don't own. I'm not turning this into a inspirational story because the contract still ended and the decision wasn't mine. But time it released is real, and what I do with that time is. So now I can go and think, oh, this time I can rebuild what I actually had because it's familiar and because it works. Or I can use this moment to actually build something that doesn't disappear when someone else's budget changes. I'm choosing the second option today, and I'm going to try and document it here, or what a shape it breaks, what works, what doesn't work, what it costs, and whether it works. So ask yourself this as well, like if your largest source of income today disappeared tomorrow, which can probably happen, like how many months would you have before the fear made the next decision for you? So that is a number, better measure. It's a better measure of freedom than your actually salary rate. So if one contract ends, you got the piece back, and now you can invest it in something you can own. And I think that's it for today's video. So subscribe if you want.